Over the holidays, I've been thinking a lot about where is the feminine in business? Where's the feminine in the holidays? Where is the feminine? Not that this is a new thought for me, but in this context, what I want to explore with you today is how I've been noticing that when it comes to us women approaching ourselves and approaching the way that we do business, approaching the way that we do our lives, we have work to do to bring our feminine forward. And I am not talking about the way we dress, and I am not talking about being a feminine type woman, or what I'm talking about is the feminine, being being the creator, being the emotionally tuned in one, being the one who really does honor and nurture herself, become the parent to herself, and dare to do things differently for her child. Now, this can be either your inner child or your business. Because the way that we do business, the way that I have tried to do business over and over and over and over and over again, is by doing it the way the guys do it, by doing it with the masculine really only. At least that's the only thing that's acknowledged. So when I say the masculine, I'm talking about the goals, I'm talking about the step-by-step order of how things are done. These are really important tools to have, right? I'm not saying that we need to throw them out the window, but the problem we've been having for so long, and now that our entire culture really is changing, and we are stepping into a brand new paradigm and a new evolutionary place in our human existence, even. It's that big. We really need to bring in the feminine because that is what creates the real birthing, the real unfolding. The feminine is process driven. You don't get pregnant one day and give birth the next. You there's a process, there's a growth, there's an unfolding, there's a discovery process, there's a redefining of who we are as a person. You know, what I did so often was try to start a business and fit myself into what it was rather than birth it from me. And this is not the way that we can do these things. This is not how it works. It really isn't. I will cite as my proof how many women do you see on Facebook and all of that where it's like, hey, or LinkedIn saying, hey, do my program and you're going to become a millionaire. Do my program and you will then know how to get through this goal that you have. It's a very, very masculinized space. There is not a lot of room for women, and we've got a choice. We can either fight it, which I don't recommend. It's not a good use of energy. It is not an energy that is based in making yourself feel like you're enjoying the journey, which I believe is the process, and I believe is the real feminine goal of creating a business, creating a different way to live other than the corporate sitting in a cubicle and looking at your watch and paying off your rent with your time, your lifetime. As we speak, I am stepping out of that. I've been stepping out of this little by little, trying to sneak out the side door for a long time. And now I'm just stepping out of it. I I I don't see any other way. There's fighting it, there's going along with it and becoming part of that masculinized thing and not bringing that much of the feminine, the compassion, the process, the care for growing us as a group together in a business. Um, or you can break with the old way of doing things and say, I'd like to find a new way. And I think that that is the only way. So, in other words, if you find a corporation that is doing things in a very new way, and in a truly new way, where I've heard of one way from the amazing Carol Sanford, who left the earth about 2 weeks ago. Phenomenal woman. And she went for 50 years or more, she went into big corporations and she turned departments on their head. And she would have the manager serving the people who were at the bottom and helping the people at the bottom to bring more game to their game, because the people who are closest to the bottom of any structure know exactly what's going on. They know what's happening. And it is incredibly powerful for the people at the top to go, let me help you with my knowledge that you don't yet have. And then I will know, I will start to understand from the bottom to the top what's happening. So Carol was doing this kind of work. And I know that if she were here to speak about it on LinkedIn, she would probably take me to task very publicly, because Carol never held back. Carol just said whatever Carol said, and that was that. And, it could be alarming at times. I once spoke to her and I started to cry because she said something that was just like, nope, I'm not doing that. And just the strength of it, I just was shocked and I started to cry and, wiped the tears away and kept going. And she did this kind of work of turning everything on its head to make it more, and I'm going to say Native American. Again, she would take me to task for all of this. So forgive me, Carol. This is the best I can do. And I'm doing better all the time, as you know. So it's doable. It's doable. You can step outside of the norm. And when it comes to looking at my business, I've taken a lot of time trying to describe what it is that I'm offering. And what I'm offering is freedom. I'm offering women self-awareness and a different perspective that they can base, and I can help them base on their own feelings. So they get to make their own decisions all along the way. This is not, I never wanted to create anything that was like, thou shalt do this and thou shalt be rich. Women have such an incredible richness that hasn't even begun to be tapped. And we're the ones who can tap it. We're the ones. I mean, I was listening to an incredible, incredible talk by Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And my mind exploded. It was all about, where did Jesus get his idea to suddenly become Jesus? Like where did he get that teaching of, you need to be compassionate, you need to give to others? Like, where did that begin? All right. You should watch this thing. I'll put the link in there and then you can take a look at it. It's brilliant and really was a holiday gift. So I recommend it. Now, as a business person, whether you're building a business or you're a person in business, what we have to do, we women, we have to come home. We have to come here. We have to start to honor the emotion that we have such access to. Emotion, we've been told for years, you're too emotional, stop it. That's not professional. That's not business. That's not true. It's not true. Get a bunch of businessmen in a room and tell them that the stock just fell and you'll see some emotion. So don't give me, you're too emotional. I'm not buying it. Not for one more dang second. Not happening. Not happening. So let's say you're in a traditional business. What I want to say to you, from my experience anyway, is that when I have stood up and said, here's what I think and here's how I feel, I have found that some people love it and some people really, really hate it. And you will run the risk of getting some blowback. You're going to run that risk. Here's the question you have to ask yourself. How important is it to you to be you, to manifest, if you will, to allow, to unfold, to birth all of who you are so that you get the experience in this life itself of feeling that you are all that you came here to be. Is that more important, or is it more important to fit in and to make the money at that particular job? This is a big, big question, right? This is not an easy answer, right? This is not. That said, if you feel that you cannot speak up at your work, you cannot be who you really are, I really recommend that you find something to develop, to birth, to get into process with in your work that will allow that, because there is no freedom like that. Not everybody wants that in their work. I understand that. Not everybody wants that. If you do, I want to reassure you that you can create it. And that's actually what I've created. And I just today, just 10 minutes before I jumped on here, I launched a community group that is personal growth, networking, community, and helping us women together create, birth, evolve a new way of doing ourselves, of doing our life, of doing our work, of doing our business, of appreciating and honoring ourselves, of coming to understand ourselves in ways that are so fully fleshed out, we actually, most of us have no idea. We've been so enculturated and so programmed to fit into little tiny boxes that have been defined by the masculinized culture. So what I'm not doing is asking you to dislike men. I'm not asking you to dislike the masculine, but there is the divine masculine and there is the toxic masculine. And the toxic masculine is what we don't want. We don't want to imitate that. And we also don't want to be the bird with one wing. If you are only using masculine ways forward, only using the goal, only using step by step, not using your intuition, not using your emotion to tell you, this might be wrong for me, that intuitive hit, this might be right for me, let me maybe try this. You're a bird with one wing, and you're just flying in circles. Now, that's what happens to a lot of women who are trying to be entrepreneurs. We fly in circles for a long time. Either we somehow stumble on the answer or we give up. It's tough. It's a tough, tough thing. Men can do this easier because they created this entire system. This entire system is a masculinized system. So they fit more naturally into that. We don't. So I want to invite you to think about the beauty and the magic and the mystery of you being able to have emotional understanding. I mean, the men in business have sort of co-opted it in a masculine way, so it doesn't reflect us when they talk about emotional intelligence. The things that I've read, the emotional intelligence description is more like a marketing trick, really. It doesn't really get to the heart of what the authentic woman leader really is here to do, which is to truly share herself, to be an inspiration, to be an inspiration not above anybody else, but with other women. It's so important that we do this work and that we do it together, and that we do our individual healing work in the world, in our lives, in our identity, our sense of identity. It's really, really crucial stuff. So I'm going to invite you to come to my new channel, join the free channel. You can also join the silver level, which is a combination of personal development, empowerment, networking, but from a new place. It's not the elevator pitch networking. Okay. We've done that, and we've done that. And as for my money, it doesn't work. It doesn't go far enough. Like, I want to know these people that I'm talking to. I want to find out where the connectivity is or where it isn't. I want to I want to grow with people. And then when I have formed relationships with people, then I know that, oh, right, that person I actually know, I've actually already created relationships with rather than be sent off to LinkedIn to hopefully create one with. Then I can actually work with this person and this person and this person to help me with my business needs and personal needs. And it becomes a much more feminine creation. And so I want to invite you to please join my channel called Women, Radical Change, and Business.